3 whole months without making videos. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever had this long of a break before, at least none that I can remember. But man, I have missed making videos so much. You never know how much you love something until you're not able to do it, and it's been frustrating not being able to create ideas because I have so many ideas in my head. YouTube is something that I truly love, or just making content in general. I informed you guys that I wasn't gonna be able to do it, make videos, because I was busy with exams. I informed you guys on my community page. A lot of people don't really check that, but that's pretty much the only place that I can inform you guys if I'm not able to make videos, or on my Instagram. So if you want to be informed on anything that I make, keep an eye out on both of those places. But I am back now, and gosh, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got a new camera, I've got lighting, I have upgraded my equipment, and it's basically a transition. From here on out, I'm gonna be trying my best to make high quality content. I really want to give you guys the best content possible, and to try all these things out, I just thought I would make just sort of not really a podcast, but kind of talking to you guys a little bit, introducing myself to you guys, because I feel like a lot of you guys don't know who I am as a person in my personal life. And making this video is something that I thought of doing for a while, because it connects a whole lot more me with you guys, with my audience, and I feel like it's something that a lot of creators should do, because most of us don't really know who we're watching, right? And to be able to connect a little bit more with them, I think it's important to be honest and to introduce themselves and their situation in terms of their life, their personal life, to their audience, just so as to just in case, I don't know, if somebody just all of a sudden decided to stop making videos for whatever reason, the audience is completely understanding of that, and there's no complete silence on the side of the creator, right? I mean, if it's something that creators don't want to do, it's fine. I completely respect it. If they want to separate their channel with their personal life, that's something that's completely fine and understandable. But to be able to understand the creator a little bit more, I think it's important telling your audience a little bit more about the creator, the person behind the camera. This video is probably gonna be one of the long ones, because I'm thinking of completely opening up to you guys, so you guys understand a bit more who I am, where I'm coming from, and who is this person, who is this guy behind the camera, right? Because there's a lot more to him than just making content, right? So that's what this video is about, and I'm probably gonna put it in my channel trailer, just in case any new audience that comes in knows who it is that they're watching. First of all, I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Emmanuel Jolly Awodola Luo. Jolly is my middle name, but Emmanuel's my first name. All of my friends call me Emmanuel. It's totally fine if anybody calls me Jolly. You can call me either way, I don't really mind it. Awodola is my father's surname, and Luo is my mom's surname. I am currently 22 years old. My birthday is on the 26th of February, and I'm currently living in Spain, Bilbao. I've lived in Spain most of my life. I'd say approximately 17 years, but I actually don't consider myself to be Spanish, although I am a native Spanish speaker. I've never considered myself to be a Spanish person. I was born in Rome, in Italy, but I only spent 1 year there after I was born. So basically, I don't consider myself Italian either, because I pretty much don't remember anything about Italy. The only thing that I have related to Italy is my birthplace, I guess, but I have nobody there. I haven't had a life there, and have no memory whatsoever living in Italy. I'm also biracial. I am half Chinese, half Nigerian. My mom's Chinese, my dad's Nigerian, but I don't consider myself to be from either one of those places either, because to China I've only been once for a month, just to check it out. I don't speak Chinese either. And Nigeria, I've been there for 5 years. I've never felt like I belonged anywhere, basically. So when people ask me, where I'm from, I first of all usually pause and think, what it is exactly that I need to respond to this person, because I don't know where I'm from. I usually just say my birthplace and my ethnicity, which is biracial, half Chinese, half Nigerian. There's no simple answer to it, and that's usually what I respond when people ask me that. I never tell people that I'm Spanish, even if I've lived here for most of my life, even though I've not lived in a country that speaks English for a very long time. I actually feel like my English is actually way better than my Spanish, just because, I guess, because my parents speak in English, and everything, like, in the house, for me, everything is in English. Like, everything that I do, everything that I watch, everything that I experience in the house, it's like it's an entirely different world. And whenever I go outside the house, it's basically entirely Spanish. I guess I spend most of my time at home. I guess that's why I feel a little bit more comfortable speaking in English. The English that I learned to speak was obviously not this accent that I'm speaking right now. It's a Nigerian accent, because my dad's Nigerian, so, and his accent is purely Nigerian. But it got to a point where my accent was like so bad, like it was hard for people to understand the accent. So I had to teach myself, I guess, and practice a little bit more a different accent, which is the American accent, because it's a little bit more international and everybody pretty much understands it. That's why I have this accent right now. Not because I'm American, not because I've lived there. I've never been to America. I've never been to any English speaking country other than Nigeria. And yes, I mentioned I don't feel like I belong anywhere, but my goal is to travel the world and experience all the cultures that that there's out there, and find a place that I mostly identify with, then live there. Because I don't plan to live here in Spain. The US doesn't really interest me either. I prefer more of maybe like Canada or something like that. It's an English speaking country. It's a place that's always caught my attention, so I don't know, that's one place that I have in mind. But again, I've never been there, so I have no idea if I want to live there, but that's the place that I'm leaning towards. I'd actually be into living in Europe as well, because Europe life isn't the worst. It's actually pretty good, but I don't know where exactly yet. So yeah, that's something that I'm gonna have to figure out eventually, as I experience the world a little bit more once I'm done with college, which remains about a year. My idea is to travel the world, save up, travel, and then yeah, that's basically my plan for the short term. So now I'm gonna talk a little bit more about my experience with art and my art journey. I started drawing for as long as I can remember. My earliest memory drawing was I couldn't tell you a specific date, but I remember that I used to trace a lot. The first drawings that I used to make were Dragon Ball drawings, and I used to trace the images, like I print them out and then I traced them, but I wouldn't tell anybody. I mean, people will point it out and I deny it, but it was obvious. Like I used to trace because I didn't have the skill back then, but I really loved drawing because I love how cool a really good drawing looks. In the past, I loved music just as much as I did art. My love for photography and videography came a little bit later. It came right about like 2016 or something like that. The first time that I fell in love with photography was the first time that I saw a picture of me with a faded background, like a blurry background. I felt like that looked pretty cool. I thought it was like the best picture ever that anybody's taken of me. Yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. Before that, I never taken any sort of good pictures of myself, never touched a DSLR, and the world of photography was a pretty fascinating one. And just knowing just a little bit of knowledge can help you create like really amazing visuals, and that hooked me immediately. So that's how I got into photography, and then later on videography and all of that. Early on, I used to love music as well. It got to a point where I had to decide whether I was more interested in art or music, and then I decided that I wanted to lean more towards art. So that's the path that I took. So I went to an art high school. From there, that's kind of how my art skills started growing a little bit. That's kind of where I started this YouTube channel, because I wanted an excuse to to practice art, and I made this channel mainly just to practice. I'd upload 2 videos a week, tutorials to help me practice my drawings. I committed to that for a really long time. I never stopped, like 2-3 years, committed to the schedule. I think it was Friday and Saturday at 9 p.m. I'd upload it. If anybody is here from back then, when I used to constantly make tutorials, you are an OG, because it's been a while. After that, my skills started growing, right? I improved pretty quickly. I got bored like really quickly, so I started making different contents. I also wanted to get into like entertainment and all of that. I used to make challenges. I also played some games as well, because making the same thing wasn't the most interesting thing. It's not creative either, because it really restricts my urgeness for creativity, because all I'm doing pretty much is just copying a reference picture and explaining to you guys how to do that. I mean, back in the day, I used to really crave tutorials when I started drawing, and I'd really appreciate a really good tutorial. And a lot of tutorials were time-lapsed and all of that. And I wanted to, you know, stand out a little bit. I wanted to copy a little bit more the format that Mark Crilly used to use, like narrated real-time tutorials. Those really helped me a lot. So that's kind of where I was leaning towards in the beginning. But, you know, once you start growing and growing and growing, it gets boring really quickly. So I kind of straightened myself a little bit away from that. I started making different things. Anime videos. I mean, I'm still making them a little bit more now. Those take a little bit longer time to make, but they're really fun. They're really fun to make, like anime parody videos, voiceover videos. They're extremely fun to make. Probably my next upload might be an anime video. We'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna try to make more, because even though they're hard work, the anime parody videos, they're pretty worth it in the end, because they're pretty funny and I can watch them a lot of times and I almost never get tired because it's so funny, even if they're cringy a little bit. But that sort of cringiness, it's what's funny to me, and I like doing it. So I haven't made a lot. Like, I make one anime parody video a year, but yeah, I'll try to be more consistent with that, and if people really like it over time, I don't know, I might dedicate a lot of my time making them. I'm also gonna be making a lot of skits as well. So my goal for this channel is to hopefully make it a job someday, because not only do I have complete control of what I make and how I earn my money, but I also don't like the idea of having like a real job. And not because of what you think. It's not because I don't work hard, you know. I'm a very hardworking, passionate person. It's not because of that. Mainly because of the idea of working for somebody else and doing things that you don't want to do, and wasting your life doing something that you don't like. Because, you know, after your education, which is, you know, studying and doing things that you do not want to do, going out from that and going back into doing a job and following orders and doing things that you don't want to do is not something that motivates me. You know, I want to do things that I want to do. I want to earn money on my own terms. And also because I also have a weird relationship with real jobs. I never had a real job for more than a day. It's kind of strange, but it's actually true. So the first official job that I had was learning English. Not learning. I know English. It was teaching English to little kids, right? I live in Spain, and you know, English is not something that you see a lot here. So it was pretty easy to get that job, right? So I got the contract and I worked for a day. I was actually replacing a guy. The next day, the guy came back, and the owner pretty much let me go. So that's about it. I only worked for one day, and that was the job for me. So the second official job that I had was actually at Burger King, at fast food. I know it's one of the lowest jobs, but I needed the money. I got the job, right? But the problem that happened is that I also worked there for just one day, and I'm not even kidding. When I got the job, a weird rash came over me. Literally, like, it was like chicken pox, and I'm not kidding. I might show you a couple pictures now, like on screen. Like, it was really bad. It didn't hurt or anything, but it was so strange how it just grew out of nowhere. And actually, I don't know if it was chickenpox either, because I had chickenpox when I was little. So this technically is not. The doctors don't know what it is, because when I went to the doctor, they kept giving me appointments for the next week, until it disappeared. So they didn't know exactly what it was either. So I had to get a leave from the Burger King, but the boss of the place wasn't patient enough to keep me around. So they pretty much just fired me. So I only worked there for a day, and that's about it for that job. So those were the only two official jobs that I had. Every other job I've been rejected by, or there was some weird problem with it that I couldn't get started. Most jobs I pretty much just get rejected, mainly because I have zero experience working. And you know, to get experience, you also have to work, right? And people won't hire you if you don't have experience. So it's this weird sort of situation. And I also hate that mentality, because everybody pretty much values you mainly on your experience, and it sucks. You know, it really sucks, because people aren't even willing to interview me. You get rejected left and right when you know yourself how much you're worth, right? I know, like, I'm a very hardworking guy. I know I'm talented. You know, constantly being rejected obviously doesn't feel good, especially because the job is crap. You're gonna spend most of your time doing something that you don't want to do, and I'm basically just doing it for the money, and I'm not gonna have time to do the things that I actually love to do, which is, you know, making content, making YouTube videos. So what exactly am I getting from this other than money? I'm not really getting happiness at all, doing that just sucks the life out of you. And I'm just wasting my life doing things that I don't want to do or like to do. That's kind of the reason why I made this channel. That's kind of the reason why I'm trying to get money off of social media, because there are things that I love to do. Being able to get money from what you love to do is the goal from everybody, right? So hopefully this works out. I actually love to work on my own. Because I do consider myself to be an introvert. I mean, even though I socialize with people fine, I just prefer to be on my own and do my own thing. I created this channel because I used to be on my own a lot. I needed to find something, you know, productive to do with my life, right? I don't really have friends either. Not a shocker. I mean, I don't have friends, not only because we constantly move, because my parents and I, we've moved locations so many times in my life that, you know, I started losing contact with other people. My childhood friends, I have no idea where I can get in contact with them, because back then I didn't have a phone. Internet was scarce. All of the friends that I'm getting right now, they're from school basically. They already have their childhood friends. They have their own sort of circle of friends that it's hard to make like good friends, right? So I don't really have friends. I also don't have friends because, you know, I also pick who I spend time with pretty wisely. I am a very picky person. Don't get me wrong, I get along with everybody, but the people that I spend time with, a very, 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 very little minority, because I'm a very productive person. I like to make a lot of creative stuff, and if someone doesn't really add anything to my life, whether it be personally or creatively, I mean, you have to get along with me, but also there has to be something that we earn from each other, right? I'm not saying like just getting from people, like me also giving to you, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I have acquaintances. I have a lot of people who I don't get badly with. I get along with pretty much anybody, but there are people who I rather not spend my time with. There are people who pretty much don't really give a crap about you, and I mean that in the most respectful way. I mean, they'll come to you once they need you, but apart from that, you'll never hear from them ever. That's reality. Like, most people do not give a crap about you. Like, they'll never be like, hey, let's do something, or, you know, hey, how's life, how's your thing going? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind that. I just wouldn't call them friends. Now, everybody has their own definition of friends, but I feel like that's how I'd define it. Like, right now I can think for about 2-3 people who I'd consider friends. Everyone else I personally would consider an acquaintance. They can call me friends. I would not call them a friend. Now, this obviously means that I spend most of my time alone, which to me is actually completely fine, because one, I'm an introvert, and I love to make things on my own. I love to make projects. I love to focus on myself a lot. So to me, that is no problem, right? So having friends, I mean, it would be cool to have a lot of friends, but I wouldn't mind not having that many friends either. I'm pretty happy with my life, basically. All right, so as you've guessed, not having friends, I also do not have a girlfriend, right? I've never had a long-term relationship with anybody, but to be honest, I'm actually pretty happy. I mean, as a teenager, to be honest with you, I was actually pretty desperate, and there's a lot of pressure to like have a girlfriend, you know, losing your virginity, all of that. Like, I was so obsessed when I was a teenager, not gonna lie to you, but as I was growing up, I started realizing what being in a relationship really means, and the things that you have to give up if you're in a relationship. A lot of people talk crap about, you know, being single, like how bad it is, but a lot of people don't talk about how cool and productive being single can be. You have all the time in the world to focus on yourself, get your life together. When you're stable, then you can start thinking and pursuing being in a relationship, because once you're in a relationship, you really can't go back, and you basically have other priorities at that point. So personally, I love being single. It's one of the best things. I mean, there are other people who can't handle being alone. I'm not one of those people, so I don't have a problem with it. Now, don't get me wrong, I am 100% down to have a girlfriend. If it happens, it happens, but I'm not gonna get worked up about it, because it's not worth it. To be honest with you, I'm actually hopeless romantic. Like, even if it doesn't look like it, like if I truly like somebody, I do whatever is in my power to make her happy, and I will completely give myself to the relationship. And people who know me can definitely testify to that. Like, I've truly really liked very few people. The few people that I've liked, they've obviously not liked me back. But if I can't get the people that I truly like, then I can't have a relationship, because there are people who sort of settle in a way. They just like kind of like them, but they don't truly like love the person. which basically doesn't last, right? So if I can't get, you know, somebody that I truly love, then there's no point, because I feel like life is way too short to settle. And I feel like that's the key to a successful relationship or marriage, is to truly love somebody. And I understand how hard it is to get that, but it's something that I want. If you're gonna get into a relationship, you obviously want it to last. So if I can't get that, then I just be single. That's it. If you don't mind being alone and you're a loner, being single is actually a pretty good thing. Another thing about me, let's see, I'm actually a Christian. I've been a Christian for all my life, basically. My dad is a Christian, and my mom became a Christian when she met my dad. So pretty much my entire family is Christian. Speaking of my family, I actually have only one sibling, which is my sister. So we're basically just 4 people in the house. My sister is 2 years younger than me. I'm 22. She's 20 right now. Okay, so what else? I like to work out. I like looking and feeling good, but ever since quarantine, actually, I haven't really done exercise, especially because when the mask came into play. I think working out with the mask it should be complete agony. So I think masks are here to stay for a really long time. So I'm thinking of getting back into it. Before quarantine, I used to go into the gym all the time, but recently I haven't really exercised at all. It's hard to start, but once I get into it, it should be easy. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about my intentions, I guess, for future professions. My interest for future professions has changed over time. For the longest time, I wanted to be a mangaka, but that interest faded over time because I realized how much talent and time you put into it. So it's something that I didn't want to do anymore, but it was something that I really felt strongly about very early on. That's something that I wanted to do because I really loved storytelling. Although I didn't read a lot of manga, and I still don't read a lot of manga, but I really love the art part of it. So it was something that I really wanted to do for a long time, but I quickly changed to other interests because I have a lot of hobbies and a lot of interests. I mean, it's something that I talked about in another video. I'll link to it here. I think I talked about all of my interests, all of the skills that I have. I'm not gonna get into it in this video, but I have a lot of things that I'm into. My interest just fluctuates. I didn't have a steady thing in mind for a long time other than being a manga artist. Now things are a little bit more clear. Now I think more than anything, I want to get into the entertainment industry, more specifically the film industry. I would love to make it as an actor. If not, I'd love getting into directing or videography, cinematography, or maybe visual effects. A while back, I made a post on my community page listing the things that I'm interested in being in the future, or the things that I'd love to dedicate my life to. In order of interests, I don't think my opinion has changed. If it does change, I'll definitely inform you guys about it, but so far I think it's still the same thing. As for my education, I study fine arts and I'm due to finish next year. I'm supposed to finish this year, but I left it an extra year, mainly because I wanted to focus more on the project, on my final degree project, because I'm thinking of making like a movie, like a really ambitious project. So I wanted to dedicate an entire year to that. Other than that, after university, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm thinking of, as I mentioned, I wanted to travel, but if things change, I'll inform you guys. I'll let you know. I don't know yet. I might go into a master's, maybe learn film or something, or acting. I have no idea. Right now, the objective in mind is just to travel the world, see the world, because I have never had to actually travel on my own terms. If I've had to travel, it's to move to a different place. I think that's about it. There's obviously a lot more to me than that, but I feel like that is enough, you know? And if there are any questions that you guys want to ask me, by all means ask me. I'll answer as many people in the comments as possible. All right, this video is sort of a transition to the upcoming content that I'm gonna make, because I'm gonna make good quality content, or at least that's the plan. I'm still gonna be making skits, but I'm gonna try my best to plan them out. The goal is to make short movies every single time that I make a post, and that's the plan for the future of this channel. And yeah, thank you guys so much for sticking with me up until this point. Where how many are we now? We're 25,000 followers, subscribers here on YouTube. It's insane. I mean, it's a slow growth, and we've grown over time, but still a pretty big number. We're quarter way to 100,000, so let's see how far we go. I don't have plans on quitting YouTube. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm gonna be making so much content for you guys. I have a lot of ideas in mind. If I don't upload for a while, please be patient with me, because I'll be putting so much time into the projects that I make. I gotta make a lot of scripts, planning out the videos. All of that takes a lot of time, so just be patient with me. But I promise you, you will not be disappointed with any content that I make. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.